A thief broke into my house last night. He started searching for money, so I woke up and searched with him. Hello everyone, this is your English teacher Hassan. Today, this is the last lesson for Unit 6. Our concern today is writing. So today, we are going to discuss a very sensitive field. So let's go. Everyone, move to your student book on page 54 and please, let's see what we have here. Okay, as you can see at the top of the page, our concern today will be reports. In this video, you are going to learn how to write a report. But before we start, let's discuss this issue. Now, before we learn how to write a report, let's see what is a report. Now, a report is a document that presents information in an organized format for a specific audience and specific purpose. So we have many details, some questions, results, conclusion, okay, that produced to a specific audience and for a specific purposes. And now, what type of expressions are used in reports? You know, each field, each type of writing has a different expressions. In reports, there are three types of expressions. And there might be more than these expressions, but our concern today is focusing on specific information. Okay, focusing on specific information. Some expressions are used to focus on specific information. For example, you can use as far as, okay, you can use in concerned, you can also use as for, as regards, regarding, the last but not least, with regard to. Also, some expressions are used to make generalization. For example, you can use broadly speaking or in general. Also, you can use in most cases and on the whole or to a great extent. These expressions are used to make something general, to give a generalization. And the last one here, the last expressions are used to give a reason. So we use as, because, as a result, that's why, for that. These expressions are used to give reasons. Now, I am not going to make this video too long, because you are going to practice to show me your writing, but I'm going to guide you to give you the steps that you can follow to write a well-organized report. First of all, don't forget that your report must include 4 paragraphs. So your report must include 4 paragraphs. In the introduction, you have to explain what the report is about and how you got your information. You have to show me what are you talking about. What is your topic? I mean, you have to show me the results. You have to show me the resources from where you got your information, surveys. In this way, you can show me what are you talking about. In the paragraph number 2 and 3, you have to analyze the first paragraph. You have to analyze at least 2 questions. Each question or each paragraph for a question. So you have to write the question, then you have to write or to analyze the question. Then you have to write another question, then you can analyze and answer this question. Now you have to use expressions to focus on a specific information, as I taught you at the previous slide. And you have to use a variety of reporting verbs, because you are reporting what people said. That's why you have to use reporting verbs and reported speech. In the last paragraph, in the final paragraph, okay, you have to say what conclusion are. So the first paragraph talks, it is the introduction. So you have to introduce your topic, to show your resources, you know. The second and the third paragraph, you have to introduce two questions, to answer them, each question for a different paragraph. Then at the last paragraph, you have to say what conclusion or conclusions are. What conclusions, not in conclusion, what conclusions are. And don't forget to use expressions, okay, that make generalization about the topic. Okay, let's practice. I have prepared something for you. Okay, this is my own report. My report talks about leisure time. I divided my report for 4 parts, okay? This is my first part, which is the introduction, okay? The first part. This is the second part. This is the question, and I have analyzed the question. This is the third question, the second question at the third paragraph, and also I have analyzed the question. And finally, this is the conclusion, and this is my conclusion. Okay, so what you are going to do is to write a report that includes 4 paragraphs. The first one, you have to do as I did, the same. You can't follow my pattern, by the way. Okay, look here. This is the introduction, okay? This is what I wrote. The aim of this report is to look at the way students between the ages of 16 and 18 use their free time during the week. This report, now I am telling my resources, okay? Report is based on information obtained from personal and online interviews with 30 students. So in the introduction, I have the topic, I have the main idea, the aim of my report, why I write this report, and I also showed you, okay, my resources. This is the question that I wrote here, okay? You can see how much free time. This is the question. Then I have started to analyze the question. You can notice here that I use the verb claimed. And claimed, as you know, is a reported verb. So I use reported verbs. As far as and pointed out, as you learned, as far as is used to focus on a specific information. Also, the expression as far as is also used to what? As far as and what? And pointed out, yes, to focus on a specific information. I'm focusing that the other 18 students were concerned, and 5 claimed that they had run 3 times. You know, you have to use reported verbs, and you have also to use expressions that focus on a specific information. At the third paragraph here, I have the second question, my second question, which is what do they do in their free time? I'm talking about teenagers, okay? And here you can see that I am adding more information. So I use the verb added, and you can use different. Also, as a result, because of this, you know. And the last paragraph here, I wrote my conclusion, and I use the word broadly speaking, means in general. So I'm giving a generalization. This is my own pattern, which you can follow. Now, when we move to our student box here, this is also a different pattern, okay? That talks about reports. This is a report that talks about teenagers at work. What I want from you to do is to solve exercise number 2. Okay, you have to read the report and decide if the sentence about report writing are true or false. For example, the writer's opinions, I mean the writer of the previous report, do not appear until the final paragraph. The writer's opinion do not, okay, doesn't appear until the final paragraph. Is it right or wrong? Okay, tell me. It is better to use contracted forms of verbs. Yes or no? You have to tell me. Okay. Now here, also, what I want from you is to read number 1 here and tell me which expressions are used to focus on a specific information and which are used to make a generalization. Okay? Then move to your these 2 questions are so easy. Okay? They are not considered as a homework. They are so easy. Also here we have a report. Okay? You can study the report. You can study the pattern. You can see how does the writer here write, and how many paragraphs do we have here with paragraph, the pattern of the paragraphs. Okay, you can study them very well. Okay, I want from you to tell me which paragraph talks about the writer's opinion, which paragraph, okay, talks about students' opinions about the topic of the report and how the information was collected and some reasons for doing homework at a particular time. Okay, answer this question, then write a report. So move the previous 2 exercises at your student book, then move to your workbook to solve the first exercise, then move to number 5, write a report on how computers are used by students. Okay, you can this lines guide you. The first paragraph should be the introduction. The second paragraph should be about your school, and the question is, where can you find computers and which lessons do you use them in? The third paragraph, at home, how do students use computers at home? And at the last paragraph, you have to write what? The conclusion. And never forget, okay, to use the expressions that I taught you. Never forget to use 4 paragraphs, 2 questions, introduction, question number 1, question number 2, and finally to write your conclusion. And that's it for today. And thank you. I'm waiting for your homeworks. You are the best. And trust yourself and believe that nothing can stop you because you are the best. See you next time.